who is the Director General in NCAA. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Bring us up to speed. Is it really, there's this guideline that is being circulated now, it's out there in the public, a new policy in NCAA. Tell us about it. Is that document first and foremost true?
I hope you're hearing me.
Yes.
Basically, this National Civil Aviation Policy 2013 is supposed to guide the industry into the next phase of development.
Perhaps maybe you should go into the details, because I understand you are part and parcel of those who drafted this new policy. But the big news is that you have barred a whole lot of people from getting on any private jet in the country.
It's not that, actually. I think it's basically that the main thrust of the policy is that privately certified aircraft are not allowed to do commercial services. We've had a time when a lot of this has been happening, and the government basically have put their foot down as to the fact that, well, policies will drive the fact that private organizations will only, or privately owned aircraft will only carry the owners of the aircraft.
When you say that it's not allowed for commercial purpose, what it comes across as, though you mean private jet owners actually lift their friends for commercial purposes?
Yes. Not that they lift their friends for commercial purposes, but they're not. Insurance does not basically guide or protect the passengers that are being carried on private aircrafts. Now, I'd like to also tell you a few insurance that are needed for aviation, types of insurance needed for aviation. Now, public liability insurance is one of them, and basically that refers to third-party liability, which covers owners of the aircraft and may basically cover the aircraft, or rather any third-party aircraft or third-party issues that surround damages that may be caused by their aircraft. Now, that covers they themselves and also the areas where something may have happened in case of an accident. Now, passenger liability insurance protects the passenger that's riding on the aircraft, and that's usually mandatory for commercial or large aircraft. Often that is a seat. That's usually classified on seat basis with a specific limit for each passenger seat. Now, also we have a combined limit insurance, which basically cover both public liability and passenger liability, and essentially passengers who may be injured by damage or are covered third party, and also properties that are on ground.
Yeah, but Captain Sasegbon,
ground risk.
Let me pop in here. Is NCAA taking on insurance duties now?
No. It's just the usually when you go for inspections, you go into the cockpit and ask them for the relevant papers. The relevant papers include the insurance that protects properties of ground, protects passengers that are being carried, and that protects the individuals on the aircraft. Now, the insurance you have for private organizations, privately owned aircraft, is usually not as much as the insurance you have for commercial. And that's essential. And that's what the civil aviation wants to see, that the aircraft are properly covered by insurance. It's basically like your car as well.
Yeah, but with the cars, they warned you. I mean, either the third party or comprehensive insurance, all you have to do is, well, as long as you're the one who's driving, if a third party is driving, insurance plays, there's a limit to which some of those things go. So if NCAA means well with this policy, why don't you just tell them, well, get all your insurance papers done, but if you do A, B, C, D, or E, that's at your risk. Not that you bar private jet owners from carrying their friends and business associates in the name of insurance.
Well, it has to be understood that the policy is only a principle to guide decisions. It basically differs from rules and laws. And the intent of this policy in question is to prevent a situation private aircraft owners use the aircraft for commercial purposes without properly being insured for that purpose. And also for the purpose that may compromise security, state security.
Well, I want us to also look at this particular issue concerning an aircraft not staying beyond 15 days in the country. Because if you look at what we have here, perhaps you clarify for us to see if it's the correct one. Part 7 of the NCAP 2013 reads, retention of foreign registered aircraft in Nigeria will not be permitted beyond a period of 15 days from the date of entry. Is that correct?
Well, that is correct for flights, foreign registered aircraft that come in to the country. Basically, what that means is if an aircraft, a foreign registered aircraft, is bringing some officials into the country, that aircraft, being foreign registered, will not be allowed in past 15 days in the country. However, if for an AOC holder in the country, if he has purchased a foreign registered aircraft, which for some reason the owners of the aircraft say, well, until you finish paying for the aircraft, you will not be allowed to deregister the aircraft. This agreement between two parties may be carried over to the NCA, and the NCA will look at it on the basis of Article 83 bis and monitor the operations of that aircraft accordingly.
So basically what it means is that if you have a private jet, you expect them to deregister them in the foreign countries where they are registered and bring them back home and do the proper documentation. Is that what it means?